Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Sharewise webinar. Thank you for coming and spending your time to watch another great webinar. Today we've got Tempest Minerals lined up to go through what they've got coming up, what they've got going on at the moment. A little bit about Don's background here. We are having a great conversation today with Don Smith. He's one of the managing directors. I myself have looked pretty heavily into Tempest Minerals. You've got a lot of exciting things going on, but my name is Harry McCaskill, and I'm one of the senior advisors here at Sharewise. And I just want to thank Don for taking his time today to come on the web, I guess, come on the show, on the webinar, and explain a few things to you shareholders or potential shareholders, and it should be good. But Don, you take it away, and I guess highlight a few things on what you're going to talk about, and then get into your presentation.
Thanks a lot, Harry. It's great to be here. I haven't had a lot to do with Sharewise, so it's nice to get the story out to a new audience and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you touched on a few things there. You can lead me in terms of what the order of things you'd like me to share the audience is, but
Well, I've got, the company background and, the mission moving forward is always a
cool.
good topic.
Yep.
Your experience, the projects that you've got on at the moment, any potential future projects is always a great topic as well. The one thing I will say, anyone listening and watching today, we'll have a Q&A at the end. But if you have any questions throughout, put them in the chat or in the Q&A section. I'll jump in. I'll ask Don the question, and it'll be a little bit more interactive. It won't be a set, too strict. It'll just be more of an interaction. You guys can take the time to ask Don any questions you've got for him, which I'm sure you've got a few. But yeah, take it away. I mean, give us a little bit about the company background and the mission.
Well, maybe easier if I speak to the presentation. So I'll share the screen.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Share the screen. I'll mute my mic and I'll turn my camera off. And then once I jump in, I'll turn it all back on. But take it away.
Great stuff. All right. So welcome everyone to the Tempest Minerals presentation. For those of you who are unfamiliar, we're a Western Australian-based company. We do mineral exploration, trying to find the critical minerals which are desperately needed in the modern world to make technology and all those kinds of things. In particular, we're focused on copper and gold, copper being one of the things that makes the world go around. It's not well known, but it's almost as important as something like oil. If we didn't have oil or a lot of other things, then the world would shut down. And all the fancy electronics that we're looking at doing this conversation couldn't happen right now without copper or gold for that matter. All right, so getting straight into it, we can see our investor snapshot here. On the left-hand side, you can see a little bit about the corporate structure of the company, where we have extremely modest price of 0.8 of a cent at the moment, which is the bane of my existence, but that's my job to get the story out there and get the share price up again. We've got only 540 million shares on offer, so that leaves us with a market cap of about $4 million, which, as I said, is an extremely modest valuation for the quality of projects and the potential that we have coming up. While it says we have $1 million in cash, it's slightly inaccurate because we sold $1 million worth of shares in an investment we had earlier in the year. So our cash balance post March 31 is actually somewhat higher than is listed there. We also have about $500,000 in investments remaining, which are reasonably liquid. Moving on to the team, I guess there was a question about myself there. I'll get onto myself later. It's not my favorite topic to talk about myself, but I guess I'll have to. More importantly, we've got our infamous and famous chairman, Brian Moller, at the top here, who is a well-renowned leader in the legal field. It was a managing partner of Hopgood Gannon, as well as the chairman and director of many ASX and other stock exchange companies, most notably SolGold, which is one of the largest copper development projects in the world. Myself, I'm a geologist and also have a business degree. I've been working in mining my entire life. I have been doing this role for about 5 years, but prior to this, I worked as a consultant. I worked in exploration, in mining itself. I've built multiple mines and a plethora of other random experience, which all brings us into today. The rest of the team, we've got Andrew Haythorpe, who's also a geologist. He's also a financer and works as a managing director of several other companies at the moment. Owen Birchall is a co-founder of the company with myself, and he is a mining engineer with about 5 other degrees, and works extensively in consulting to the industry. Things that make us different. So I'm sure many people who are watching this presentation have seen 1,000 junior resource stocks talking. And if you haven't, then this will probably be one of the better ones you see, I think, in my opinion anyway. The things that make us different to the many other peers on the ASX and other stock exchanges. One is that we start our journey on everything we do with the sustainability as the core. So it's not a slide that we tack on to the end of our presentations because it's what people think we want to hear or other people want to hear. We think about it at the start. The second important thing that we have on our difference list is our technological focus. So Tempest, among with another several other companies in a group that we work, we share a number of technological resources, which makes it more efficient. And we're doing things that, frankly, I don't think any other junior are doing. We have a fully digital system. We have a completely paperless company and office. And that goes all the way down to our exploration and our planning and our project management. In terms of growth, we have some pretty unprecedented quality projects, which we'll be getting to in a moment. Anyone who looks at our share price over the last 2 to 3 years will see that we had some steady growth, and then we had a big spike where we made a technical discovery, discovered some copper a couple of years ago, and that shows the easily leveraged share price that we have, especially when the price is modest as it is at the moment. And a great project pipeline. So I'm going to show some really exciting things that we've got coming up in the next 6 to 12 months. So let's get right into that. Our projects. So there's an overview of our projects. So it isn't listed on this map, but we have commercial interest. We're not the operators, but we have commercial interest in several other projects around the world, in Asia, Africa, and North America. They're lithium and gold focused, but they're not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're here to talk about our projects here in Western Australia. And you can see that we've got 5 of those there across a number of commodities, which is a good thing as a junior, in my opinion. You don't want to be too focused on one thing because the market turns and you're at the behest of our cyclical market. So a diversity in commodities when you're a junior is a very good thing, in my opinion. And our focus at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, is copper and gold. Yalgoo is our flagship project. You can see it there with the large circle and slightly larger text. And that's what we're going to talk about mostly today. So for those of you who aren't aware of Yalgoo, it's a tiny town, about 1,000 people, about 5 hours north of Perth, straight up the Great Northern Highway, and you basically hit our project, which hits on a very important part about our project is that it has some fantastic infrastructure. Often when you're doing mineral exploration anywhere in the world, well, most of the time, you're places where there aren't a lot of humans or a lot of infrastructure. And this is an exception because there are at least half a dozen world-class mines in this region. So it's a less known mining region in Australia, but it's a very important one. And you can see the large circles that are on the screen there. We have the yellow ones are gold, the brown ones are iron, the blue ones are base metals involved with making steel, and the red ones are copper, gold, and other base metals. So you can see there's a lot going on there. To make the story very simple for everyone who isn't familiar, the green color that's throughout the area, that's the known Yalgoo greenstone belt. So what that means is that's the kind of rocks that typically host the important mineralization. The blue color with the red outlines, that's the Tempest ground. And you can see that it mirrors almost the belt in many ways. And the reason that we have done that is that we've discovered that this whole belt that has many world-class mines of different commodities, the geological maps in the past weren't quite right. And there's much more to that green area, the important area, than there is than was previously recognized. So we've got a whole new zone of this very important belt that no one's ever looked at before, except for us. And you can see the small Tempest logos here. That's places that we've already found mineralization where no one's explored before. So we've got a pretty good track record so far. And all we're doing now is testing targets systematically with the hope of finding another one of these large economic projects that can become a mine. So moving forward a bit, you can see there's remorse and sanity. They're the two main areas we're going to talk about today. They're on the eastern side of our project. Bit of background behind the project. On the left, you can see we started work in earnest on this project in 2020, just as the pandemic kicked off, which was a challenging time to say the least. But you can see that's the concept there. So we've got in the top left, we've got Golden Grove and Golden Dragon. They're both world-class mines, copper and gold respectively. And if we follow the dotted yellow line, we come down here, that whole area there has previously been unexplored. And so we've been exploring that over the last few years. And as we go further to the east, that's been less explored. But we found some fantastic targets there. We've been doing geological mapping. We've been doing drilling in the middle here. We've been doing a lot of drilling 2 years ago, certainly. And then last year, we capped it off by doing a giant helicopter-borne geophysical survey. And that came up with any number of very, very exciting targets. And one of those is on the next slide. That's called the remorse target. So many or some people may have heard this story, but I might as well tell it for the amusement, is that this was an area that we didn't think was a priority at the time. It's another area that no one's really explored before. And when the team were less busy, they'd go out here and collect samples, and we're just accumulating data so that we could work out what was happening out there. Then one day we decided to look at the data and we said, oh, there's a 4.5 kilometer copper anomaly here and it's very high grade. So that was pretty exciting. But we spent some time to make sure that that was actually correct, and it very much so is. And then when we did the helicopter EM survey I mentioned earlier, it also highlighted that this was a particularly attractive target. So as a geologist, often when you're doing exploration, you have one or two data layers that you can put over the top and say, oh, that matches, and that's a good target to drill. This target has at least 5 or 6 coincident data layers that all are pointing that we need to drill some holes here. So I've been talking about this for quite some time, and anyone who is familiar with the story knows that we've been somewhat delayed by this. But I can tell you that we're going to be drilling this as soon as physically possible. We have all the approvals required. We've got all the equipment, everything's lined up. We're just waiting frankly, on the rain to stop. So we've had extremely intense rain here in Western Australia over the last few weeks, and it isn't safe to go out and do work when the ground is that mushy. So as soon as it is dry enough to do work, I can guarantee you we'll be out there drilling holes. So we've got a 5,000 meter RC program planned initially, but we'll probably be expanding that. And that will cover the whole red and blue zone on that picture there. So very exciting stuff, and I can unequivocally say I believe this is one of the most compelling drill targets around today. I think that this is really, really exciting. If we go a mere 1 or 2 kilometers to the south, we've got our second target. We originally hoped to drill this at the same time, but it looks like that this may be a standalone project due to the scale of it increasing as well. The background behind this is a historical mining area where some work has been done, where the yellow circle is there. One of our neighbours, Warriordale Resources, they're drilling out a resource there at the moment. So that's a pretty exciting development. And if you follow those rocks that are outcropping there, you come into our project where the yellow and the red shape is, and we've got high grade gold and other metals at the surface. So we think that's a likely continuation of the same kind of mineralization, and that's going to be our second drill program this year. So very exciting that we have not one but two very, very high caliber drilling programs right beside each other. So that's about it for Yalgoo for the moment. I can talk about it all day. There's so much going on there. It's an enormous project, and there's so many opportunities. But they're the two main ones that we're focusing on at the moment. We're going to be drilling in the next few months. So that's basically repeating what I said there, is that we've got a drill program coming up. We've got all the regulatory stuff completed, and we've got a nice picture of us out in the field with the traditional owners, the Badamaya people. And we've got a great drilling program coming up that should be very exciting for all shareholders and potential shareholders. Moving forward, our next project is in the Mount Magnet region, which is only another hour further north from Yalgoo, northeast, I should say. And this is a major mining area. For those of you who aren't aware, the multi-billion-dollar market cap company Ramelius Resources is the main player here, as is Genesis Minerals and several others. You can see that nice picture there, which shows the opportunity that we have here. Basically, all the land to the north of Mount Magnet is Ramelius, and all the ground to the south is Tempest. And there we've got the Ramelius mill processing 1,000,000 ounces of gold or whatever it is every year. And then we've got the Wrangler target, which is a gold target just to the south, a few kilometers to the south. And we can see that another view here. So this open pit you can see on the ground here, that's the last or the most southern mining zone that is in the Ramelius holdings. And then we have a red line here, and everything to the south of that is Tempest. And you can see there's the Wrangler target. And that came about because we did some innovative 3D geological modeling. And we said, okay, if there's more mineralization in this open pit here, where will it outcrop? And our model showed it popping up exactly where the Wrangler target is. So we walked out there, moved away some grass, took a few rock chips, and bang, we've got gold. And importantly, we've got tourmaline mineralization, which seems to be important in this area. So that's going to be our third drill program coming up in the next 6 to 12 months. So we've got plenty going on, and we're really excited to get into all of this. Our fourth target that we've got coming up is called the Elephant Project. So if you look here, we've got 194 square kilometers in the Fraser Range, which is further east from Kalgoorlie. It's famous for hosting the Independence Group, the IGO Nova Bollinger mine, which is this large red circle here. And we've got a big yellow circle here, which is the Tropicana mine, which is a multi-million ounce, one of the biggest gold mines in Australia. And everything in between there is fair game at the moment. And there's some exciting geophysical and geochemical news coming out of the region. And one of the exciting things is that Tropicana has a particular geophysical signature. It's a mottled magnetic signature, and there's a number of very similar looking anomalies down this diagonal trend here, the Albany-Fraser boundary. And one of those includes the Elephant Project, which, as I said, is 194 square kilometers, but it also has an 8 kilometer long gold anomaly spread out throughout that large area. And that matches with this exciting magnetic signature. So that's another large drill program that we've got planned. We'd hope to get that done by the end of the year, but it looks like it'll be early next year at this stage. So stay tuned. That's basically the timeline that we've got coming, and within our projects, and pretty excited about it is all I can say. And while it's lower priority on our list at the moment, but it is still exciting, we have our Five Wheels project, which is this red area here. So some viewers or listeners may be aware already of the Rumble Resources story. So they discovered one of the largest zinc deposits in the world down here in the light blue colored area, as well as Strickland Metals here also has discovered copper and zinc of similar scale. All of that, if you follow the dotted green line, that seems to be the key area or the key geological horizon. If you follow that green line, you come around, it goes straight through the middle of our project. And we've got a number of reasons, including chemistry and historical drilling, to be excited that we may have similar looking stuff within our ground. So we have recently procured government funding to partially pay for a large-scale geophysical survey, a gravimetric survey over the top of this ground, and we're going to be doing that either the end of this year or early next year. So that will undoubtedly bring up some targets, and therefore be our next geological exploration front in the next 12 months as well. So we're certainly not sitting still on any of our projects where we'll go. And yeah, I think there's a lot of good news and a lot of potential for severe increases in our valuation as a part of that work that we're doing. So I think I've pretty much covered what's next. We've got a number of drill programs. We've got a lot of news flow and some pretty exciting projects on our cards. While we'll be doing our Q&A now, if anyone is looking for further information, I strongly recommend you visit our website, which has an investor hub specifically for giving all the information for shareholders we want to know. And if you want to follow the story in a more visual and real-time manner, I recommend you check out our YouTube channel, where there's lots of videos of me talking and us in the field, which means that you can be vicariously there with us without having to enjoy the flies and the terrible weather.
So obviously the rain's holding a few things up over there in WA, hey?
Yeah, it is. We're not the only ones. It's patchy rain as well, and it just happens that we've received a ton of it at the Algoo project. So that's we're just waiting. Yep.
So I mean, what's the forecast looking like? When are you thinking you'd be able to start drilling?
Look, we hope to get up there and get the earthworks done this week. That hasn't happened. There seems to be more rain on the way on Wednesday.
Okay.
But late next week, I think we'll be into it. Fingers crossed.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, fingers crossed. Obviously, the Yalgoo mine is obviously your flagship. What's with the drilling at Remorse? What do you what's the key expectations and forecasts from that from your perspective? And is that a big milestone for you, or is this just another key little project that you just building the little projects at a time, completing those little milestones?
Look, it's a good question, Harry. I think it's both. So, as I mentioned in my rapid presentation, then, is that we have a number of things on the go always at once. So it is just part of the story. However, this one does have a special resonance with me personally because I mentioned there's so many layers of data that tell us there's something good
something
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's both. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And I guess we here at the firm at Sharewise, we're pretty bullish on uranium. I know you guys are starting to look into uranium and sort of try and focus on that area as a new potential material. How in depth are you looking at the uranium space, and what's your outlook if it's something that you want to be focused on?
Oh, certainly. There's a lot of people doing that here in WA. There's still a lot of legislative challenges.
Yeah,
Uranium is uh, probably not our priority at the moment,
yeah,
but our holdings do have a very large granite component to them,
yeah,
and that is where you often find a lot of uranium,
yeah,
particularly the signatures, to go looking. So our data sets have always had the geophysical, the radiometrics, which
yeah,
tell you where that can help you find where uranium is. So yeah, it's always on our radar.
yeah,
We're big on keeping our eyes open for all commodities. So as I
yeah,
mentioned earlier, a lot of people are focused on one thing and then they have
yeah,
to change every 5 minutes.
yeah.
Um, I learned early in my career you want your eyes open for everything all the time.
Yeah, yeah. More
Yeah,
cover all bases. Obviously,
correct.
that's
Yes.
the key priority. I guess for yourself, with ongoing field work and results, what's sort of the time frame with some of these key results? Obviously, shareholders are waiting for, because shareholders they want to see that share price going in the right direction. So forecast guidance, those sort of things, but what's your anticipation moving forward over the next year with the share price? Obviously, trying to get that market cap up, trying to get some more volume into the share price. So, ongoing results, what's your outlook?
Look, that's a crystal ball question.
Yeah,
Obviously, I hope our share price goes up, but hope is not a strategy either.
yeah,
Our strategy for getting increasing our market cap is what I've been through. All our projects
yeah,
have drill ready targets ready to go,
yeah,
and each one of those. So a lot of companies have one or two targets. We've got four projects with multiple targets,
yeah,
and any one of those could be a world class deposit.
yeah.
So, yeah, like
It's a matter of time, almost, sort of thing.
I think so. And as I said in the presentation, we've proven our credentials already. We've found at least 5 lots of new mineralization that was unknown before already. What we're looking for now is the economic
Yeah.
piece of that. So.
Yeah, and what's I guess what are you as a company doing to lower cost, be more efficient, so a potential capital raise isn't on the cards down the track, or whatever it might be, just to be completely transparent and efficient for you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So I mentioned in the start of the presentation about technology. That's the key to part of it for us.
Yeah,
Is that we are always looking for ways to reduce bureaucracy, frankly.
yeah,
So we've automated a lot of the stuff that a lot of other companies are still doing manually.
yeah,
So that's a real big part of it. Is
yeah,
all our data is kept in unified single source cloud system. So
yeah,
there's no paper, there's no duplication, there's no typing numbers into Excel.
yeah.
It's all automated. So that's the answer to your question, I think.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. Now, there's no more questions coming in. Is there any other, key points you want to touch on, or any last comments you want to make to everyone watching? Just to leave a mark, and yeah, just one final say.
I think it's summarizing what I said already is that we've got incredible projects, not at all proportional to the valuation that we're enjoying at the moment,
Yeah,
and we've got a lot of work and news flow coming up in the next
yeah,
12 months. So,
yeah.
and yeah, our communication is also, I think, one of in better than a lot of our peers, and you can see that by visiting our investor hub and our YouTube.
Yeah, excellent. Because it does sound like there's a lot going on. There's a lot of projects, there's a lot of fine little details. It all does take time. It's not going to happen overnight, that's for sure. But Don, I want to thank you for coming here today and giving us the presentations, giving us and every one of the viewers a little bit of insight into the company, maybe a few finer details they didn't know about. And like I said, I've been following you guys for a little while now, and it's always good to learn the intricacies. But look, if anyone has missed anything or has any questions or anything, be sure to jump on our website, and you can always speak to an advisor, and we can always go through a few things. This is recorded, so we'll be able to go on our YouTube channel and rewatch it. Don will also have access to that. I'm sure he'll put that on his socials or whatever he'll do there.
For
But
sure.
Don, absolute pleasure, and thank you everyone for coming here today and watching the webinar.
Thanks for having me. It was really great.
No worries, Don. We'll talk soon. Bye.